Hello YouTube, the Kingpin of Cinema.
And the QB999 here to bring you another video game review.
Yeah, because you know those get so many views.
Well, we don't do this for the views, we do it just because we love it.
Because somebody out there has to tell the world.
Our opinions, because we're more important than yours.
That's why we have a video series and you don't.
Anyway, this week we're bringing up Killzone 3, the latest exclusive for the PlayStation 3. It's supposed to be its version of Halo, even though they can also have Resistance.
Which sucks.
But anyway, Killzone 2 was a massive hit. A great first-person shooter with a good story and a fantastic online mode.
Yeah, here's a little history. Killzone 1, I honestly haven't played it, which is a bit bad on me, but from all reviews, it was a mediocre game. But yeah. Sony really pushed this series to be like the Halo of the PlayStation.
Because they actually advertised the first one as the Halo killer.
Yeah, which it wasn't. So of course, Sony, being the financial juggernaut that it is, really pushed for Killzone 2, and they made a fantastic game. I love Killzone 2. If you had a choice between playing Resistance and Killzone 2, play Killzone 2.
Well, not so much Resistance. I'd say Resistance 2 in Killzone 2, yeah.
Getting off topic, Resistance 1 was okay. I hated the fuck out of Resistance 2. Killzone 2 is probably the second best exclusive game on the PS3, right behind Uncharted.
Yeah. So then, of course, with the massive success that was Killzone 2, number 3 was slated to come out. And
they spent 2 years making this game, by the way.
Which it does show. Beautiful visuals.
Graphically, it does show, and the visuals are fantastic.
Now, everyone has been saying the same thing about this game. Everyone. Great gameplay. Massive fail on the story, and we could not agree more.
Oh, yeah. Let's go through the positives, quick fire, real quick. Okay. Yes, as like we said, visuals, amazing, look good.
The gameplay style, it offers it has a duck and cover system, which usually works.
I don't really rely on it too much, but it is there.
You have, in Gears of War, one big thing was that if you were downed, your AI allies could come and revive you. This one probably has some of the best AI as far as that goes, as we've seen. Better than Gears of War 2 or any other that we've played.
Yeah, the AI is improved in this, and it's still stupid at some points, but maybe they just didn't have enough time to make the game. Another thing really good about this is the opening level. The first quarter of the game is fantastic.
It really kind of shows you, it offers a pretty good way of you starting into the game and showing you the controls and everything. Mm-hmm. Another good aspect is the game is very varied. It's not just a first-person shooter, go here, go here, go here. You have rail shooter times, you have vehicle times.
And you have an awesome jetpack.
There's a jetpack level, there's a level where you, ride in this big exoskeleton suit. So there's very varied gameplay in this game. Which
is nice. It's not... I'll get into that later. Another thing that's good about this game is the voice acting. You have Malcolm McDowell doing the main villain.
And he does an awesome job.
Yeah, he does an awesome job. And, going along with the visual style, I've always loved the Space Nazis, the Hellgas. Because, man, do they ever really...
They're really pushing that Space Nazis. Space Nazis.
So much imagery is borrowed from, Nazi Germany, and it totally shows, but it looks awesome. And also imagery from, Soviet Russia, monuments of, the working class rising up, kind of imagery, and it looks fantastic.
So that, as far as the good stuff goes, that's about it.
That's about it. Now we're going to get to the nitty-gritty and why this game sucks.
Now, first off, they advertise this game as kind of like your group of guys has been left behind on the planet because Earth has basically left.
They were defeated. The Hellgas just completely annihilated the ISA.
So you're just a small ragtag group of soldiers. they advertise this game as kind of, you're doing guerrilla warfare now. You're sneaking around, you're sabotaging, you're doing small attacks all around. When really the gameplay doesn't really give you that. It seems like you're still just fighting a full-scale war the entire time.
Yeah, and also, there's also another way that I had it advertised to me that I've read, where people have told me, that this was going to be like a civil war between two Helghast factions, and ISA survivors were in the middle.
You kind of get that, but...
At the end of the game.
At the very tail end.
At the very end of the game. So
those are two aspects that first they didn't deliver on, and that could have made it a lot better.
Would have made it, story-wise, a much superior game.
Because as far as the story goes, you're just this group of people fighting the Helghast still. That's basically all you're getting in it. The story only advances as far as the missions go. Like, okay, you have to go do this. You have to go do this now. Oh, we need to rescue these people. We need to go defeat this group before they reach point A.
Yeah. It's you know, I complimented the voice acting, which sounds good, but a lot of the characters have nothing really interesting to say. And they actually, a lot of them come across as very unlikable. The main protagonist, I guess you would call him, has nothing really interesting to say. His best friend, who does nothing but go against orders, always challenges authority. I mean, he's just such an unlikable person. I was hoping him to get killed all the time. And their captain guy is an incompetent moron who just does nothing but bark orders.
Yeah, so you're wondering, how are these people still alive?
God, I wish I knew.
But yeah, the voice acting itself was good, but the dialogue was horrendously bad. It goes along with the story as being just bad.
And that's just for the protagonist. I actually like the dialogue with the Helghast guys more. And I kind of wish the game would just have been about the Helghast guys, because they're more interesting as characters.
Yeah, you get little snippets of what's going on in the Helghast military and their society a little bit more, and you really start delving into that society a lot more, and you start caring more about that, but then when it goes back to the ISA guys, you're just like, God damn it.
I gotta listen to two people bicker for 5 minutes. These two really unlikable characters just do nothing but bicker.
Now, as far as we'll delve more into the story in a little bit. As far as the gameplay goes, I said I like the cover system a little bit. The problem with that, though, is that it doesn't work as much as it's intended to, because the way it works is you kind of hide behind a wall and you're always facing towards the enemy.
And you toggle your joystick a little bit and it'll poke up, and then so you can shoot at your enemies. Most of the time, I found that the cover never really covered me.
Because, the game needs to give you that ability to still see your enemy even when you're under cover, so that leaves your head still exposed. So as your opponents are shooting their machine guns wildly at the area you're at, it's still hitting you. And also, as you're free to move like side to side, but then when you're reloading, you can't move, which I thought was really weird.
And another thing I don't like is, when enemies throw grenades, they're always spot on where they throw it. It's always going to be right where you are. And you don't have the option to throw it back like in Modern Warfare.
And also, with a game like this where there's a lot of action, and when you're mortally wounded, the screen goes all black and white, you might not always notice it, and there's no grenade indicator. So you'll be hiding somewhere with your screen filled with action going on, and then suddenly a grenade will go off and you'll die that you never saw.
Yeah. And, unlike Gears of War, you can't crawl to your AI so they can revive you.
Yeah,
they have to come to you.
Yeah, you're just kind of lying there, and your view is usually of the floor. Yeah. So you're not even sure if your AI is coming to you or not.
And you're just praying that they do come. And most of the time they do. But
and as far as the dialogue as well, I found I had a lot of bugs too, where, at least early in the game, some of the dialogue people were saying during battles were repeated. Like, you'd have a guy yelling, "I can't do it," and he'd yell it 4 times in a row. "I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it." And it was the weirdest thing. And it only happened towards the beginning of the game.
This game is buggy as hell. There have already been 2 updates for it, and that's within the first 3 days.
And there were times where, I think it was my controller, but there were times where my guy would be flipping out, like, I'd be fighting and Helga suddenly starts spinning in circles wildly. I think it might have been my controller, but I'm not sure.
It's hard to say, because the game is pretty buggy. I've noticed a lot of a lot of bugs through my playthrough. So it gives me the impression this game was rushed.
Now, of course, like the regular aim, running, shooting, that all works fine. It does.
It's a solid control scheme, even for the PS3, which I have a hard time getting used to. But, you know, I think there's a really missed opportunity here to really bring us something new.
And sadly, we don't have the PS Move, so we can't really mention how that really works.
I can't even comment on
I've
that.
heard people say, yeah, it really makes it a lot better, but then again, it is motion control. You're never really sure how that works. So
when I say something like bringing something new to the table, and they kind of do with the jetpack, and I really wish they would have made the whole game revolve around the jetpack mechanic of you jumping from location to location to cover to cover.
Yeah, they actually kind of turn into a little bit of a platformer.
And I wish the whole game had just been centered on that jetpack, you know, because it would have made it more dynamic. It would have been something new and not so samey.
Yeah. Now, back to the story a little bit. The first part of the game isn't bad.
It has a bit of a tone problem, because if you played Killzone 2, they kill Visari, or at least your partner does. So basically, the whole reason for the ISA coming to the planet has been completely ruined. Because the whole point was to capture Visari, take him back to Earth to try him for war crimes. But they killed him. So that was completely fucked. So the game ends with your main character sitting on the steps, kind of just loading his gun, and then hearing radio of, like, they're completely surrounded.
Now, the game, the way, sometimes I hate this, they do it in movies too, where it says, like, okay, 6 months later, and it
that's a transition problem.
And it takes you through, like, this little area you're going through, and then, of course, you don't really know what's going on, it's just the intro. And then you get to a point in the intro where something's about to happen, and then it says, okay, 6 months back. And that's when it takes you back to right when Visari was killed. Right at the end of the second game is kind of when this really picks up.
What I mean by tone is that in the tone of the second one, it ended on a really dark note. In the beginning of this one, you don't get that tone. You get, like, yeah,
they fucked it up.
Yeah, you get, like, two guys yelling at each other, and it's like they're both really unlikable, and then it's just like, well, I forgive you, man. I forgive you, dude. We gotta survive. Let's get out of here. It's like, he's not pissed. I probably would have shot him because he just fucked the whole mission. Everyone that's died has died in vain because now we can't fulfill our orders.
And then, so, you know, you got the feeling, okay, that was going to be their last stand, was right there. But then at the beginning of this game, they just shoot through the enemy with no problem. And this is taking you back to where Earth is kind of leaving. Yeah, and this is when you guys get left behind. And then after that, it goes back again 6 months later, but still earlier than what you had just played.
And when it transitions, it's like it ends like, okay, the ship's crashing, and it's like, oh, did the guy survive? Did this guy survive? 6 months later, well, I guess they survived. What happened in the 6 months? What did they do? Where'd they go? I guess there's going to be some comic book, novel, or movie tie-in that's going to show that. But why couldn't you have had something in the game like a text box where somebody talking and saying, during those 6 months, we went from camp to camp, always evading the enemy.
Yeah, but you never really are given that. You don't really have any clue. Now, and then as the story continues, you know, the first part of the game is still okay. You know, you figure out, okay, you're still this ragtag group, you're trying to put back together what you can, and you get the message, Earth has surrendered, basically.
Yeah.
You guys have entered into a ceasefire, and every Marine on Helghast has to surrender.
So people are just like, bullshit.
Bullshit. Do you know what they do to us? At the same time, the Helghast are developing some sort of new weapon.
You're never really told what it is. It's some kind of green...
It uses some sort of radiation to make people explode, basically.
They go, pop!
So then you and your lieutenant, you're fighting through. Eventually you both get captured. You get freed. And then you have to try and go rescue him. Which leads to the backpack area where you're jumping over icebergs, going from oil rigs.
Well, at first I'm going to call bullshit on, like, so many soldiers risking their lives to save one guy. I mean... You only got like a finite number of men, and you're going to risk your entire operation to save one dude. And a dude that the one guy really hates.
And again, that kind of goes along with I don't think this was like supposed to be like a guerrilla warfare type of thing. It felt more like just a full-on scale war.
And it's just like a full-on scale war. It wasn't guerrilla warfare at all.
So that's when you learn, okay, the Hellgas are really just buying time so that they can attack Earth and basically wipe out everyone.
With the new MacGuffin weapon. And so
from there, shit happens. You know, you have a couple boss fights through it, like you have one flying drone, but probably one of the best parts of this game is fighting the Mauler, which is a huge anti-air tank that is just covered in machine guns, missile launchers, a huge-ass lightning gun.
It's essentially a walking battleship.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is like bigger than a Metal Gear. I mean, it's just massive, and it is one of those like set piece moments that really makes the game great.
I mean, you're first on foot just trying to destroy this thing with just a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
And then after that, you find out, well, God, this thing's still not going down. Then that's when you go into like the helicopter ships and you start going around. It's kind of a rail shooter type thing where you have to shoot the targets, try and survive. And then even after you get rid of every weapon it has on that thing, you guys are still going, it's still not going down. Fuck it, just blow up the bridge.
Then it finally goes down.
And then, of course, this is when it starts to get really stupid.
Then it gets beyond stupid.
You go up to space onto their giant space station, trying to capture the main bad guy, Stahl,
which is Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, and trying to catch up to him because he wants to attack Earth
and kill it.
And this is kind of when the Civil War is starting a little bit.
And I'm gonna say this: the game, the original plan is we gotta go to the spaceport so we can capture a ship and go warn Earth of the attack. Okay, we need to go up into the space station so we can get on a monitor and warn Earth, send a signal to Earth and warn them. Oh, now we just gotta go destroy Stahl's ship. They changed their plan 3 times!
Yeah, they really never... Again, leading to the incompetence of their leader. So they go up, you fight through, and then you change your plan again. Hey, let's destroy the ship by getting to these attack ships and fly around and destroy it.
It's a good thing that these trained infantry marines know how to pilot spaceships. Never mind the fact that they're Hellgang spaceships, but they know how to pilot them perfectly. Ace pilots, even. I shot down 10 fighters. That makes me a double ace.
So you're flying. The game ends kind of on a rail shooter type area where you're doing a space battle. You're flying around. You're destroying all the defenses of Strahl's ship. You're destroying all the other fighters around till finally. His ship starts falling out of the air. He does whatever he can to save it, which he kind of does. He levels it out.
Starting to level it out. And then this is where things get stupid.
This is probably one of the worst endings I've seen for a game, but one of the funniest.
He found it hilarious. I found it pretty fucking insulting.
You launch a nuke at the ship, which then proceeds to destroy the entire planet. We thought Shepard from Mass Effect was the Grim Reaper of the universe when he killed all those Geth on that space station. He was nothing. He was Hitler compared to the Grim Reaper of outer space. You destroy an entire civilization on a planet.
In a matter of seconds. Once the nuke hits the ship, it explodes and the MacGuffin bombs on it, release the green energy thing that envelops the entire planet in a matter of seconds. Bullshit. I was just stunned. I couldn't believe that had just happened.
I was laughing my ass off at that. It's like, oh my god, you are supposed to be the hero, and here you are, wiping out an entire civilization of people. Yeah, there were Helgen, but I kind of wish they had shown the other part of Helgen, the people who weren't part of the military, just the regular life of Helgen.
It would have been a much better story if, the survivors joined up of the Helgen resistance in trying to overthrow the government. That would have been a much superior game.
Instead, you nuke the entire planet. And that's when you guys throw up your hands and go, oh, our job's done.
And if that wasn't ridiculous enough, it leaves it open for a sequel.
It's supposed to show that Stahl possibly survived, or someone did.
I'm stunned. Not only did you blow up an entire planet,
you failed to kill the leader.
you leave it open for a possible sequel? What was the point of blowing up the planet if you're going to plan for a sequel? This is the laziest writing for a video game I have ever seen.
Like I said, for me, worst ending ever, funniest.
Honestly, I can't think of an ending that is worse than this.
No, you know what's really funny though is that Bulletstorm, the Xbox 360 game that came out the same day, has the same exact ending, where you just nuke the planet.
I can't believe it.
I know, 2 different games, same day that they came out, same ending.
This game, where is it? This game not only jumped the shark, this game strapped the nuke to the shark.
This game became Hagar, grabbed the shark, and pile-drived it into the beach.
Pile-drived it right into Hiroshima. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe it. At this point, we don't need a Killzone 4. We need a Killzone reboot.
Now, we have... Alright, so that was the ending. Funny ending for me. Disappointing for him. Now, we have played online a little bit. For me, the matchmaking is very slow. I couldn't even play it at home because it was just taking so long to connect to a match. I just gave up. Of course, when I got back to school that has a really good connection, yeah, it did it a lot faster, but it's still really slow.
But, you know, I've only played it like 1-2 matches, and I don't care for half the classes that you can choose from.
It's really a game where you really have to know your team and really compose a team of everyone, because tacticians can be essential, medics essential, engineers can make the difference. You know, marksmen, you know, those guys can really cover your ass too. You have the infiltrators that can really screw them up depending on the game mode you're playing. So everyone, a perfect team, would have a balance of all those people.
This is essentially the online is essentially
Team Fortress 2?
Team Fortress, yeah.
But then, of course, you're going to get online and have a team of all infiltrators.
Where the one match I played last night, almost everyone in the team was a marksman. So yeah, we lost because the other team was more balanced with their tactician and their engineer.
Yeah. With a tactician, you can get the spawn points and get a mortar strike, and that thing just fucks everything up in a small area.
Or they can get a drone patrol.
That too, you know? So it's paramount. You get a balanced team of every job you can. If not, then yeah, you're going to lose. So it's good to play with people you know and you can actually strategize with.
So, in the end, it's a very mixed game. You are going to get some solid things in it, some pretty good things. It's a couple of memorable moments.
It's going to be not that long of a game. It's maybe about 5 hours at most.
I think I clocked in about 6 to 7.
But it is very long. It's much longer than that to actually play because you are going to die a lot because of some of these mechanics.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say just play Killzone 2. I think this might be a pass. A rent at the least.
I'll say rent it. You know, I wouldn't really bother buying it because you're going to get through it quick, and the online play, you might play it for a while.
Let's say you have like a lot of friends and they all have the game too, and you can all play together.
Then go for it.
Then I'd say, yeah, that would probably be more worth the purchase. Because as it stands now, I'm a big story kind of guy, so that's why I'm so disappointed.
That's why stories are so important in Street Fighter. But still, so I would say if you're just going to play through it, just rent it.
Yeah.
Get it from Netfly or whatever.
Worst ending ever.
Funniest ending ever. Be a hero, nuke a planet.
Nuke a planet.
Anyway, so that was our review of Killzone 3.
Yep.
So if you didn't like it,
okay,
then we agree with you.
Yeah, I didn't like it.